Hello, how's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Hope everyone's having a fantastic Monday. The week has started fantastically well. And today on the schedule, we have some rumors, a bit more rumors coming. I'm not sure if it's Portugal or what, but Arsenal are allegedly one step closer to signing their striker, Viktor Gyokeres. On the cards as well, we're gonna talk about Rice's injury because this is not even funny anymore. And to add on top of that, for some weird goddamn reason I saw today, and we're gonna talk about it, Real Madrid are potentially eyeing David Raya as a Courtois replacement. Some bits and bobs here, they're mostly about players actually going out and coming in at the same time, and some injuries. So we have Arsenal covered from all the top to bottom. So if you're new around here, of course, subscribe, smash the like button if you haven't already. And on top of that, leave your thoughts in the live chat so we can tackle them, we can discuss them, and we can basically share opinions all the way around. So hopefully you're interested, hopefully you are ready, so because today it's gonna be a gnarly one. And for some weird goddamn reason, we're gonna kick things off with something different. We're gonna kick things off with this. Mikel Arteta waffle settings are back at it again. We didn't do it yesterday because it wasn't out by the time I was streaming. So we're gonna do this today. I just want to see what Mikel Arteta has waffled in the post-Liverpool game press conference, because as basically press conferences pass by, to some extent they get more and more ridiculous. So I want to see what the manager, who is hanging by a thread at Arsenal, basically in my opinion, has spoken about. So here we go. We're gonna do this for about 10-15 minutes, then we're gonna get into transfers, of course. Now, first things first, on the first half performance being unacceptable. A lot of parts, especially the defending standards that we had and the areas that we gave the ball away, which is totally prohibited against this team. Very far off it, really upset. We had a reaction. I hate reaction. Well, we all know that. He hates reactions in general. I like action. Well, based on your substitutions, which you make around 80th minute, you never ever would tell, would you? And on top of that, based on how we move in transfer market, also we could never tell that you like action, because in markets we are usually asleep, in hibernation like bears during winter, or in games you are basically YOLOing it, what it looks like. And especially we want to be there winning trophies. Well, you haven't shown it one single bit, I'm not gonna lie. Well, you have shown it, but you don't have the mentality to do so, because you have shown that you want to win trophies, because you're talking about it a lot, genuinely a lot, yet at the same time, by the way, you win every single cup, you can focus on one cup competition at a time, and at the end of the day, well, you never win anything, so what? I want to do lots of things as well, and obviously, well, I don't, so it is what it is. You want to be a moment that you win it, or you don't. And when you don't have to, after you have to play another. Anyways, I'm moving forward. On if the reaction makes up for the first half performance. I think it makes it worse, because you miss half of the team again, and we've done it for 9 months. Well, that is utter total lies. Half of the team, you want to tell me that all out of the 24 players we have in the team, we have 12 injured. At the same time, by the way. Oh, what a waffler. And for 9 months, don't make me laugh. And you're going to still, after 2-0 at Anfield, like any other team will do, we play the way we played, come back, maybe should have won it, and at the end maybe lost it again for something that was in our hands for sure, and having to play for the 6th time in the season with 10 men. Well, that's your problem, not ours. 6th time with 10 men, that's already a disciplinary issue, let's be real. And that definitely falls on your lap, and that's a problem you don't control. Because we always get these situations, these are always the excuses, so don't chat shit here. We want to really win it, the consistency level for 95 minutes, and I don't like to talk about the players, they are not here, the excuse. See, this one. I don't like to talk about the players that are not here and these excuses. Yet, you always find excuses why we lost. Apparently, we are the best team in Europe, best team in Champions League, best team in Premier League. We deserve to win every single bloody game. The ball is too small or too wide or too narrow or too hairy or whatever it is. And then you have 10 men, then you have the injuries, and you have everything. You find excuses every way, shape, or form. Just shut it. On the sending off, I haven't seen it on TV. Well, that's your problem. On running out of players, well, that's again his problem, because after 750 million spent, you would think he has enough of them, but he doesn't, obviously. Big up BX Gunner. Big up, hope you're doing well today. Arteta operates like a liar or a politician, completely untrustworthy. Exactly. He just waffles. He is genuinely a politician. He answers a question by basically beating around the bush. That's what it is. And at the end of the day, he says a whole paragraph of something when he actually says nothing, and by the time he finishes his mumble jumble waffle settings, you have completely forgotten the question you asked in the first place, and you just accept whatever you get. That's what it looks like every single interview, basically. Ever since that one performance, it's annoying as hell. Exactly. To be honest, have you noticed that it's been comical what he says in interviews about the ball and everything over time and all this stuff, right? At the same time, have you noticed that it has gotten to extreme, 10 times worse as soon as Andrea Berta signed? As soon as. Have you noticed that as well? And we don't see pictures together with Mikel and Andrea Berta at all, pretty much. Whatsoever. Maybe one at some point when he beat Real Madrid and Berta patted him on the back. That's about it. Yet if it was Edu, you would see genuinely, like, it would be a gallery in the Louvre, pretty much. It would be like that. You would have like about 65,000 photos and everything. Videos and everything. What is that PFP? That is low-key, it looks like a very hairy Timofey Mozgov in a Lakers jersey. Not gonna lie. If you know, you know. He's become unhinged knowing his days of bullshit are coming to an end. Days of bullshit. Yeah, exactly. He got pressed in the interview by Sky Sports before he conducted this interview, right? And he completely lost it. Completely lost it. Because he couldn't answer the questions. He was very rude, very narcissistic, and it was utterly embarrassing as an Arsenal fan to read and watch. I'm not gonna lie. It's not enough. Just like in World Cup in the final against Argentina, he scored a hat-trick and he still lost. That's going well, innit? Yeah, Nelly is a pure number 9. He should be our number 9, to some extent. Not the main one, but to some extent. Yeah, he is, because he actually, for a change, had semi-decent second half. With the shot, with the pass, and despite what he did besides that, he had bang average second half, but it was 10 times better what he usually produces, right? So that's why he gets the glaze at the end of the day. Bro got no coaching or ball knowledge, what you think? Exactly. Sky Sports and CBS Golazzo journals had him riled because they aren't his usual handpicked journals. To be honest, yeah. And have you noticed as well that the narratives in the media have changed as well? Because in the beginning it was, oh, it's fantastic what's happening there, insane project and all this stuff. That was 3-4 years ago. Now Sky Sports and CBS and NBC and Beans and all these guys are calling him out. Genuinely, they're calling him out in every single interview. The pundits they have before and after the game are also calling him out. All of a sudden, there is something that is changing. The tides in the sails are changing. The winds in the sails, and it's going actually kind of nuts. Big up, Jimmy. Big up. Hope you're doing well today. He's no show guard, bro. Dauman put him. Yeah, Dauman. Not sure what's gonna happen to him as well. Anyways, on running out of players, I know you don't want to talk about the players who aren't here, but you are running out of players. But you are running out of players at the moment. I know, but if that happens after 70, 80, 90 minutes, I understand. The first 25 minutes and certain things that we haven't done, ball goes out of play, we don't react. Well, that's after 1 minute, 5, 10, and 95, especially if you want to win at Anfield, because in one moment you lose the ball or you lose the game. That's it, it's done. Well, on if it was due to Wednesday's performance. What is even that question? You want to tell me that these guys sat on a plane, all the luxuries in the world, it's a 30-minute to 40-minute flight from Paris to London, You want to tell me they got jet lag? You want to tell me they got tired in that flight? Or something? Why are you crying about this stuff now? Why is that even a question? But psychologically, what could happen? It maybe doesn't happen after 67. Deja vu. Swear to God, we die. We die because we have players on that pitch that shouldn't be. See, we die because we have players on that pitch today that shouldn't be on that pitch. I usually don't call out the players. I don't want to name specific names and all this stuff. But we had players on the pitch that should not be there. You see the hypocrisy, what he's doing here? He's calling out the players. And to add on top of that, this bum-ass Paella signed these players. So he has no right to complain about this stuff. Because these all are his players. His players, his signings. These are the players he trusted in. With the 750 million he has pissed down the wind pretty much. Well, maybe about 400 have gone rightly, so half of the money he has pissed down the wind in the last 5 years. Let's just say it as it is. I will understand it more, but when I see that reaction and it's there, you need a certain amount of fire. That's on me, that's my responsibility. Everything's on you to some extent. Obviously, it's partially on players. I'm kind of surprised players haven't started to rebel yet. On Declan Rice and Jurriën Timber's fitness. No, we brought Jurriën in to see if today he was bare, but he was very clear that he's not fit to play. Well, we're gonna talk about Declan Rice and Timber in a second. On how he got the reaction out of players. Whatever happens in the dressing room, it's going to stay there. It couldn't be much worse. It could be because of this football. Or they could be more effective, but thankfully we did it the second half. We were capable of doing, understanding as well a lot of the things that are against us at the moment. Like, you know, and I understand the comeback in the second half. Fantastic, great, whatever you want to address it as, right? I'm not gonna lie. Big reason why we actually got back into the game was because Liverpool scored 2 goals. They took the foot off the gas pedal and they basically cruised the first half afterwards, and in the same cruise control they went in the second half expecting nothing. They don't have fight for anything. They have won the league. They don't care to some extent. Let's be real. If Liverpool keeps the pedal to the metal and keeps it down into the floor as they did in the first 20 minutes when they scored the 2 goals pretty much, it would have been ugly. It would have been 4-5 nothing. It could have been 3-4 nothing by half time, by the way. So don't address this as it's some sort of a miracle on making the move to have Gabriel play through the middle, especially when they have such a high line and they're so aggressive with that, and what Ben did as well, because Ben is in a stage where he's on the way he tried today and where they grew throughout the game. He is waffling, man. I'm losing brain cells as I'm reading this. By the way, how comes he put Martinelli through the middle only against PSG? Why didn't he do it, against Liverpool? Why didn't he do it against PSG? Because shit hit the fan against PSG, he did none of that. Now that the pressure is off, he wants to keep the second somehow. God knows how he's gonna do it, if he's gonna do it, and why he's even trying. All of a sudden Martinelli is good to play down the middle. He did it for about 10 games in the early stage of his managerial career at Arsenal. Besides that, he pretty much has made him a touchline winger. Like, there is no tactical genius behind this. It's just basically, as shit hits the fan, you basically throw as well shit at the wall and see what sticks at the end of the day. And it actually stuck to some extent. It actually somehow stuck. That is the big thing. Expressions oozing. Yeah, he definitely would be. I can't believe this, but Vinny has more GA than our whole attack, and he's absolute shit. Yeah. Yeah, Vinny has been quite awful this season. He has scored a hat-trick as well and everything, but overall he's been quite awful for his standards. For Ballon d'Or winning standards, he has been quite awful. Yet he has more GA than our whole attack combined. Xavi Alonso to Real Madrid. Ancelotti is going to Brazil, not Madrid. Xavi Alonso has signed with Real Madrid and Ancelotti has signed with Brazil. Real Madrid finally hit their prime next season with Xavi, man. Barcelona. We'll see. Definitely we'll see. He's definitely not a tactical genius, exactly. Definitely not. Based on his in-game management, the substitutions which he makes or doesn't make, let's just put it that way, definitely no tactical genius. Goulart finally gonna get some minutes and we won't be able to get him. Yeah, that could be the case. That definitely will be the case as well to some extent. Definitely. Yeah, Brazil, I totally understand. I totally understand. No worries. No worries. On if the second half comeback was there to send a message to Liverpool. No, I think the message is to ourselves. I think it has to be about us, the things that we can control. We can never control. You see this obsession with control, by the way? Always about control and everything. Able to down what we can't do. That's it they want. I think they fully deserve to win it. They have been so consistent, and that's it. We are going to have to be better, smart, with the right availability. Oh, here we go, injury excuses already. For sure, don't play 6 times in a season with 10 men, because if that happens, we won't win it next season for sure. And learn, and a lot of learning. Okay. On taking encouragement from the performance, when I look back to the 2-2 game at home, and we should have probably won it, well, I think we should have won it today. We should have lost it today. And it could have been 3 or 4. Let's be real, that could have happened. We could have lost this game as well, like 4-5-1 as well, easily. The first 25 minutes, they missed another 2 big chances as well. It's about consistency on that level. Well, that's your issue, because after 750 million spent, 3.5 years ago, you binned off Aubameyang, and you still haven't signed a proper striker. There's no squad management, hence why main guys have gotten injured this season, which every single Arsenal fan called out. Because everyone could see that it's that. No, not everyone, let's be real. Top Gunners didn't see that. I said this last summer. Northside Lee Gunner, Shane, Aaron, Jez, Kenny, Dan Potts, Turkish, Curtis. These guys all called out these things. They told that there are gonna be injuries to the main guys. We don't have backups, so you won't sign backups, and we will be in a top 4 race. And now, fast forward 9 months, where we are? Exactly, we are in a top 4 race, and we are 2 points ahead of 4th. We play against Newcastle, by the way, who, if they beat us on the weekend, they overtake us. If City win and we lose, they overtake us as well. So basically, one game can take us from 2nd to 4th. That's gonna be nuts, to say the least. Against the top 6, I think we haven't lost any single game. So that tells you as a team we are very, very consistent. No, it doesn't. 12 games out of 38 doesn't mean you're consistent whatsoever. The season is being played for 38 games. And top 6 games for Arsenal in general, more or less predominantly, have never been an issue, have it? It's mostly the teams that we play at the bottom mid-table side. You know, your West Hams, Crystal Palaces, Burnleys, Evertons, Southamptons, Bournemouths, Brentfords, teams like that. Those have been our biggest issues, not the top 6 sides. Yes, there was a time where we on occasion got panned by the top 6 side. 100%. But if you look overall, our record against top 6 has been very decent besides everything. Our issue always has been the smaller teams. We can compete with anybody. Well, maybe not with Bournemouth. Lol. But actually to win it and win no matter what, we are going to need something else apart from availability as well, certain demands, and make sure that we don't talk about reaction, because I hate that word. He hates word reaction. Yet he has said that word in this interview about 5-6 times. Give over. What a waffler, man. Serial waffler, to say the least. Serial waffler, to say the least. Anyhow, let's move to some more bigger matters at hand, the transfer news. As I said, 10-15 minutes in the first part. We do the interview, then we get into transfers, and those gonna be some spicy ones. What message? They won the league already? Yeah. We have no striker for 4 years now. No good midfield squad depth, no attack or defensive squad depth, no squad depth overall. We aren't nowhere in these 4 years. Exactly. Because let's be real. Every single season, if you look at the games played predominantly, there you will see a standout about, I would say 7 to 10 players that have played almost every single game. And then there are some maybe other players that have rotated, but predominantly players like Saka, Odegaard, Rice, Saliba, Gabriel, players like that have played pretty much every single game and almost pretty much from bell to bell. Like, what are we doing here? Against only 2-6 full 2-6, yeah, Fulham, Bournemouth, West Ham, Villa, Palace, Everton. Yeah, they are pamming us. Top 6 is not the biggest issue here. West Ham be like every year come here and exactly, we can go to West Ham and destroy them, but once they come to our ground they destroy us. That's not good enough, is it? And remember, they said this shit manager is a genius. Yeah, Igal said that this manager is an architect, by the way. An architect, you know. Not sure of what, but it is what it is. Gonzalo, yeah, exactly. I don't want him, but we are linked with him. Hard fast on Gonzalo. Has he even recovered from his ACL? He has. Gonzalo Ramos, he hit the crossbar against us, by the way, at Emirates as well. Don't forget that. Gonzalo Ramos has been caught by Villa, Juventus, United, Napoli, and Newcastle. By the way, you see how we say we don't want Gonzalo Ramos because we have standards and we want Gyokeres, Osimhen, players like that. I can guarantee you that if he goes to Aston Villa, right, he will bag goals like no tomorrow. Anyone want to put a bet on that? Anyways, Gonzalo Ramos, just for the shits and giggles, let's just put it that way. This season, he has played 38 games for PSG, 18 goals, 6 assists, so 24 points out of 38 games. For a secondary striker, by the way, that is not too bad. He has more goals than any of our players and everything. So overall, I would say that's actually not too damn bad. But I don't want him at Arsenal whatsoever. I'm not gonna lie. Not the standard, not the quality we need. Bro, if I see a guy, show me the minutes he's played. Villa or Italy is a good place for him, 100%. Yeah, here I just closed the tab. Oh no, I didn't. Here we go. He has played 1,590 minutes. And he has gone 24 points in 38 games. On average, he has 88 minutes per goal. So basically, he gets almost a goal per game ratio. Almost. Something like that. If you divide 1,590 by 38, you kind of can get that, I think. If I'm not mistaken. Let me quickly check. 1,590 divided by 38. That is 41.8. He basically plays around 42 minutes a game on average. 42 minutes a game on average. That's not bad, but again, not the Arsenal quality, not the Arsenal standard, and not a player we need right now. Big up, Harry. Big up, hope you're doing well. I would take Baye from PSG Academy or Zar for a young developing midfielder, like how we had Cesc, Denge can maybe captain us. To be honest, if you look at PSG's midfield, it's very hard to argue not getting any of them. João Neves would be fantastic. Vitinha would be phenomenal. Fabian Ruiz would be fantastic. Zaire Emery would be very, very good as well, plus developing. You could argue that any player that PSG has in their midfield is good enough and is better than pretty much every midfielder we have, to some extent. You can definitely argue that. And Arsenal, in my opinion, is screaming for a midfielder like Pedri or Vitinha in their team for creation, for shooting, for ball possession and ball retention, to dribbling and in tight spaces and press resistant, definitely. Would take Pacho, good squad depth, can be our first choice center back in years to come, potentially. Potentially. If we need a replacement for Saliba or Gabriel, maybe. What I see with Arteta is the whole Wenger effect all over again. I can't see anyone coming in and changing our fortunes under this manager. Exactly. And today was the first day I released a YouTube short, by the way. If you haven't, go check it out. And I released a TikTok as well, which I haven't done for about half a year or something like that. And basically those were the same TikTok and same video, right? Where basically in 30-second clip, I basically said that it was from 2 streams ago. I clipped a part where I said, let's just say Arteta gets what he wants. You know, Gyokeres, Zubimendi, for example, comes, Lookman for the left wing or whatever. I still don't trust this manager to get us over the line, even with those players. Because you can get the best players in the world, but if the manager is basically not good enough, the team also will not be good enough. Ultimately, it all comes from the manager. Now Vitinha cleared that overrated fraud. Pedri is very good. Don't even chat about Pedri. This season he's been phenomenal, to say the least. But yeah, Vitinha. Pedri is a bit injury prone. If he can stay injury free, that would be fantastic for him. But otherwise, yeah, an experienced manager with his resources wins multiple trophies. Yeah, with these resources, I assume, or with his resources, or however you want to say this. But yeah, 100%, 100%. Even Wenger would have won something with 750 million, given the fact that over Wenger's whole career at Arsenal, I would argue, on top of my head, he has spent about what? A billion? Over his illustrious career at Arsenal. Billion? 1.1 billion? At best? Mikel Arteta has done that, has done 750 million in 5 years and has nothing to show for it. He's always looking for out of favor players and rejects. Yeah, we are like Animal Shelter. Big up DAA, by the way. We are like Animal Shelter. We took someone in, we nursed them to health, and yeah, we at least tried to nurse them to health and everything. And the best part is, this manager is so narcissistic in that regard that basically it comes to a point where the player who he has, well, rescued, if we can go it that way, he won't object to Mikel Arteta, because they will view Mikel Arteta, right, as the savior. He gave them a chance. He took a punt on them. He resurrected their career if that happens. So it's basically it's very, very smart in that regard. Arteta would fail an open book exam. Yeah, 100, definitely. He would think about tactics and evolutions, small margins between the letters and everything. What phase would his pen be in, or his pencil if he sharpened it for 2 minutes longer, and everything. Personally, it would take at least 234 academy players to give them first team. Whoa. Why the fuck do not go for Ancelotti? Ancelotti is... No, yeah, I get that. Because we could have signed Ancelotti twice, by the way. The year we signed Emery, and the year we signed Mikel Arteta. We had 2 chances to sign him, and we didn't. Oh, but look what he did at Everton. He did... Shut up. Let's just say it as it is. And yeah, Ancelotti is at Brazil. Conte potentially will win the league for again. With obviously not with again with Napoli, but he's gonna win the Serie A, and that could be Napoli's second Scudetto in 3 years. So it's going actually even nuts. Yeah, Xavi left Barca as well. He needs these broken misfit individuals. Real quality players won't put up with this bullshit. Exactly, because real established players, they know what they are worth. They have the proper mindset. They know what they're capable of. And they won't stand for these light bulbs, squeezing lemons, pickpockets, and all this stuff. Scooping with the dog's poop of the training ground and all that stuff. He knows he can't handle a tough player who doesn't say his yes man crap. Exactly. That's why the first thing when he just came in was he got rid of all of them. Ozil, Jesus, Ozil, Aubameyang, Lacazette, Guendouzi, Pepe, all of these guys. Man, Conte would get us some trophies. Man, we would be in 4 or 5 trophies. Yeah, 100%. If you give manager who has won stuff, what competent manager is, this amount of money and this amount of time, 100% we wouldn't have 1 trophy in 20 attempts available to us. Because Mikel Arteta, of the 20 or 21 potential trophies which he could have won in his tenure at Arsenal, has won 1. And he won that one with the team that wasn't even his. He then dissected that team, he annihilated it to the ground, and built his own castle basically right now. And that castle basically is like from 3 piglets. It's made of hay, the wolf will come, they will huff and puff, and the castle will fly away. That's what it is. This is from Arsenal, quite shameless, I'm not gonna lie, pick your moments, but 2 games left, let's end the season strongly together. This is from Arsenal, quite shameless. Wait, let's see the responses. Let's do well so we qualify for next Champions League. Well, that's a comment and a half. Strongly, lol. Who will take it? There's no need because we are already trophyless. See? See? Losing both games. This is the Arsenal fan base right now. What else is there? Oh, there's some top gooners. 2 games left. Let's finish strongly together. 2 to go. Can't wait for this horrible season to end. The trolling is too much. Have some shame and go to bed, bruh. So totally agree with that. Gotta keep this momentum going. End the season with pride and push for that top finish. We are not even on the top. How can we push for top finish when we barely can hold on to second? We might not even do that. Juan Garcia, by the way, yesterday he conceded 3 goals, right? Didn't see a link with him whatsoever yesterday. Just that's like outside of the box, but top gooner bingo type of thing. Because when Sesko scores a banger, Juan Garcia gets a clean sheet, and all these guys, they want. Instantly, my whole timeline. I don't even follow that many Arsenal fans on Twitter, by the way, on X, right? But I do follow, they get sometimes retweeted on my timeline and stuff like that. I see Juan Garcia, fantastic performance, next Arsenal goalkeeper and stuff like that. Get Sesko to Arsenal and all this stuff. As soon as those players go quiet, my timeline is also as quiet. Just tumbleweed flying through. That's how nuts it is. Arteta has made it all about himself and taken any star power away from the players. Yeah, to some extent, I kind of believe that Mikel Arteta at Arsenal is building his own resume. He's basically learning the craft of being a manager, coach, and blah, blah, blah at Arsenal, so he afterwards can go to a different club and win something. And then that will be the massive ammunition all the top gooners will need and say, huh, see, he is a good coach, he won stuff there, you wanted him gone, it's your fault. And all this stuff. It's gonna be nuts to some extent when these things are gonna start to happen. 100%. Shameless and disgusting. Damn, man of the match, Bertha, yeah. What I find astonishing is how these individuals can possibly believe this manager or club will act or do any different than it's done over the last 20 years. History consistently repeats itself at Arsenal. Yeah. And to be honest, I'm not gonna lie. One of the biggest issues are the top gooners in the fan base, right? No matter how you look at it, whether it's the trolling online, the disrespect online, whether it's what they say, what they believe, and all this, doesn't matter. But the biggest thing is that Mikel Arteta has been here for 5.5 years. Emery was here for a year and a half, pretty much, right? That's 7 years. I grew up on Thierry Henry, on Cesc, on Bergkamp, on these guys, right? Early 2000s, and so on. I was very young. That was the time when I was learning what is football, and that's when I fell in love with football, right? I was very impressionable at that time, but I saw the trophies and everything, so I know what's it like. I know what it feels like. I know what lift it gives you, how it feels. Today, many Arsenal fans, besides odd FA Cup here or there from Wenger in his twilight time, or the one that Arteta has won, have seen nothing. Because think about it. If you were 10 and you started supporting Arsenal 7 years ago, you have only seen Emery, Ljungberg as interim, and Mikel Arteta as the managers. Those are the only managers you have seen. If you even backtrack 10 years, it's Wenger's twilight years, okay, 1 FA Cup, cool, and then you have seen Wenger's twilight, Wenger out, punching up in the stadium, toxic environment in the fan base, then you have seen Emery, another toxic environment in the fan base, and now you see Mikel Arteta, 1 FA Cup and all this stuff. So basically, I think it's also a mental thing as you grow up as an Arsenal fan especially, I think as well. Because 10 years back, if you are 20 now, you start supporting at 10, right? It's Wenger's twilight, Emery, Ljungberg, and Mikel Arteta. And you haven't seen Wenger, you haven't seen winning Premier League and stuff like that. Sesko is a beast though, that goal against Bayern was far as hell. No, he can hit some phenomenal strikes, but when he plays, you can see that he is raw. Attack, yes, he can shoot with both feet, he's semi-decent in the air and stuff like that, but his passing needs work, he has tunnel vision, if he decides to shoot, he will shoot, he will not pass off the ball. Which obviously, when you look how Arsenal are playing currently, wouldn't actually be the worst thing, to be honest, but it is what it is. So I think Sesko for Arsenal is way too raw and way too inexperienced. 100 GA was now 21. These top gooners have all the sentiment and all. Yeah, Emery didn't even get 3 years, and Arteta within those good 6. Yeah, he will. By December 19th, if I'm not mistaken, 2025, this year, he's gonna be here for 6 full years. Unless he gets sacked by that time, by the way. Depending on how the first part of the season is going, of course. You cannot forget that. My first full season supporting was in 06. Oh, that's a painful one. That's a painful one. Imagine starting supporting in 06 and seeing that Champions League thing. That is painful and a half, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I've never seen or experienced greatness. I've seen nothing but banter. I get that. I totally get that. But at least you have seen us play some good football under Wenger. You have seen us at least win more. You have seen some standards. You have seen us in Champions League final and Champions League semi-final in 08-09, when obviously we lost to United and everything. But you have seen stuff. You have seen also players who are good. You don't see these all the Drossards and every stuff. You have seen proper players like Cesc, like Rosicki, Santi Cazorla, and players like that. You actually have seen proper bowlers. Van Persie as well, by the way. Let's not forget that. He left Arsenal because, well, let's be real, Arsenal were not good enough. He outgrew Arsenal because Arsenal refused to build on what they had at the end of the day. Whether you hate Van Persie or not, that was the right move for his career. It's a shame that he had to go to United, obviously, but he won a trophy, he won Premier League. Yes, it was to some extent with Sir Alex at the time when Van Persie was there, passed the ball to Van Persie in Inshallah era, but it worked. You cannot kind of deny that. Big up, Noah. Big up. The problem is the coach, 100%. How can a team win the cups and league without a striker? No, exactly. The manager was bang average manager. It feels like the manager is signing the same level of players that he was. Bang average at the end of the day. Mr. I won Charity Shield, yeah. Missed out on Flick in 2024, Enrique 2023. Yeah, we have missed on very, very good managers. When I said that we should sign Flick, oh, but what he did with Germany. When we signed Enrique, oh, he's not good enough. When I wanted Ancelotti, oh, what he did with Everton, and all this stuff. There will be always an excuse why not to sign. And this is also happening in Top Gunner's channels. Specifically AFTV. I don't want to call out specific channels, but AFTV is one of the prime examples. As soon as you talk about the facts that Mikel Arteta should go, and you mention other managers who could take his place, they instantly shut down the fan cam or the interview and change the subject. Instantly. It's actually quite insane. Please get him out, yeah. I start an early Ozil era. Dude, the early Ozil era, if Giroud could finish his dinner only. Eduardo was my first favorite. Then they broke his leg, yeah. Showcross on Ramsey, that was nasty as well, by the way. When we lost Alexis Sanchez and Ozil, I was pissed off as fuck, didn't watch much for a week. I get that, I totally get that. Everyone has their opinion on Van Persie, but we don't have these things. We don't have players in the team who makes you jump out of your seat anymore. We don't make signings like that. Because the hype in Arsenal's fan base when we signed Ozil for 45 million, when we signed Alexis Sanchez from Barcelona, when we signed even Aubameyang to some extent, right? In the recent memory, in recent times. Those were the players that basically made me jump out my seat. As I'm sitting here, I would catapult straight into ceiling. Signing Declan Rice is bang average. It's great that we signed Rice, but it's not a signing that will get me out of my seat to the same extent. We need refreshments. We need high-profile players. We sign better players like being in Europa League than we are signing right now when we are in Champions League. Yet we need Champions League to sign world-class players. This whole thing is a hoax, you know. Diaby was another one, yeah. Ruined by injuries, unfortunately, though. Ruined by injuries. Big up AFC always. Big up, my guy. Hope you're doing well. I've seen Arsenal win 5 league titles, 9 FA Cups, 2 League Cups, and 1 Cup winners. Big up. That's some massive stuff you have seen. I'm not gonna lie, lots of stuff. I have seen 2 Premier Leagues to some extent. I'm not gonna lie, to some extent, because I have seen 1. Other one was more of going back into archives in specific sites to find it. I just put it that way. I have seen us win countless FA Cups under Wenger. I have never seen us win Carabao Cup, by the way. Because the last time when we won Carabao Cup, I was born only. That was the year. That's how insane it is, by the way. If you think about it. The last time... think about it this way, to put it in perspective. Since the time Arsenal won the Premier League last time, I have finished school, secondary school, college, university, have a job, have a girlfriend, 2 kids, have my own apartment and everything. Like, it's insane. If you start to put it in those perspectives. Arsenal needs to stop being the little bro and become big bro for once. Exactly. FTR, Arteta PR guys, they think Arteta look good and make us milk his good because their content wouldn't be good if they're winning trophies. Yeah. To be honest, the prime time for, as much as it's weird to say, the prime time for AFTV's rise was the toxic era of Arsene Wenger. The last 5-6 years. With Claude, may he rest in peace, with Troops, DT and those guys. Those were the prime times of AFTV. And as soon as Arsenal started going well, obviously, everything fell down for a bit, but now with all the PR and everything, it's all gone back upwards. UEFA Cup winners, yeah. See, not even 5 EFL Cups can win the cup where man was getting barred, but everyone still won it, and we didn't do it shit. Yeah, and Wenger, by the way, won those FA Cups, right? With youth teams. He basically played till quarterfinals, semi-finals, pretty much, with youngsters, and he still managed to win them. We cannot do it with even our main squad. We go to 3rd, 4th round max at the best of times. That's how bad it is. Anyways, Max Daumann is balling this season. For under 18s, last 16 goal contributions in 7 games. He's too good for under 16s. He's too good for under 18s. I really hope next season he plays for under 21s. And if he still puts up the same amount of numbers as he's doing right now, I definitely would take him in the first team. Because the jump from under 18s into main squad, I think, is a bit too high for him at the current stage, to some extent. Obviously, players have done it before, even at Arsenal, but I think it could be a bit too early for him. This really pissed me off today. I just want to show you this. This is something that really, really, really pissed me off today when I was scrolling through Twitter at work. This really pissed me off. Arsenal, we are back together, from Arsenal fan account. Merino, Odegaard, Zubimendi. Real Sociedad midfield. Odegaard, Merino, Zubimendi at Arsenal. This was the 6th place Real Sociedad midfield for a reason. This was the 6th place Real Sociedad team, right? And I quoted this with saying this: is this the level Arsenal fans want to achieve? Big up Yorkshire Gunner, by the way. He said that's where we'll finish next season. And to be honest, wouldn't be surprised, because this midfield is not good enough for 38 games in Premier League whatsoever. Next season, benching no Shogun. We'll see Max in 3 years. Yeah, 2-3 years we'll see what he's made of, 100%. I can call it right now, deserves a debut at 16. Too early, I think. Yeah, it's insane. It is genuinely insane. And this is the level of our fan base. And then people think, why they hate us? Because we post shit like that on social media. We make ourselves a laughing stock. That's why they pick at us. That's why they laugh at us. Posts like that make people laugh at us. Exactly. That's to see why people clown our fan base, make fun of us, call us deluded, and why we don't get respect. Because of shit like this. Anyways, some news on Kivior. Apparently Juventus and Inter Milan both want to sign Arsenal center back Jakub Kivior this summer. Allegedly, obviously that's from Football Insider. But it doesn't stop there. If we speak about Kivior, this comes from Graham Bailey, so take that how you will. But Arsenal have indicated to Jakub Kivior's camp that they're willing to offer the Polish guy a new contract. He's on 80 grand a week. I'm not gonna lie, paying him more would be I don't want to say it would be overpaying, but it would be overpaying. We cannot have another bench player on 150 grand a week. We cannot have that. We have this with Zinchenko and all these guys. If we pay him 150 or something that like a week, if we extend the contract, it will be curtains. Kivior has wanted to leave for some time now, which is understandable because he didn't get a chance behind Gabriel, and let's be real, who would? But appreciates the progress he has made. And also because of Gabriel's injury. Because if Gabriel doesn't get injured, not sure Kivior sees the pitch whatsoever this season. And the Gunners haven't given up on persuading him to stay. Like, make of that as you will. It's a good thing. Don't use this app. The things would send. Yeah, that app, not gonna lie, Twitter is actually nuts. X is actually nuts. I posted today a YouTube short, and I posted today a TikTok, right? And the responses I got on TikTok as well. Top Gunners were all over the place. Again, Top Gunners were saying, by the way, I will quote you what one of the Top Gunners posted on the TikTok I put out. Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. I said, I posted a TikTok where I say I don't trust Mikel Arteta with the biggest even with the big signings. He said this. He took us within 2 points of the title without an out number 9. If he gets his starting 11 for 30 out of 38 games in the Premier League season, we win the league. That was what he said, what that guy said. I'm not gonna lie. Last year, we had pretty much our whole 11 injury-free for the whole season, pretty much. And we still didn't do it. So how comes you want to put some chest out and say that we're going to do it this next season? If that even is the case. Nah, Kivior might not be leaving, he might. No offense to Zini, but he can't play in his actual position, which messed him up. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That is the biggest reason why I don't like Zinchenko per se. I'm nothing against him as a person or anything. It's the fact that he plays as a left back. Because at left back he is shit. If we play him as a number 10, he's actually very good there. I'm not gonna lie. So why not play him there in the natural position or even try him as an 8? It's a big, massive mystery for me. Now, here is the big thing. According to Sam Mogbel, Arsenal's midfielder Declan Rice missed the game against Liverpool on Sunday with a hamstring strain. Oh, look-see-loo, another hamstring. And there are rumors that Trossard also has pulled a bloody hamstring. Hope the issue is not serious, but the medics won't take any risks with the England star. Now, if we do this and do this, I just want to check this. Squad, where are injuries? Penalties, end of contract, experience, foreigners, internationals, suspensions and injuries. Arsenal Football Club. These are the current ones. I need more. I need all of the injuries throughout the season. Arsenal injuries suffered in 24-25. Raya, Timber, picked up injuries that have impact his ability. Thigh injuries. Tomiyasu, knee injuries. Ben White, knee injuries. William Saliba, hamstring. Gabriel Magalhaes, hamstring. Calafiori, muscle, knee, calf, hamstring, whatever. Alexander Zinchenko, muscle, calf. Tierney, hamstring. Skelly, knock. Okay, cool. Thomas Partey, muscular. Declan Rice, broken toe, and now he has a hamstring. That's about 7 players already. Merino, shoulder knock, it is what it is. Odegaard, ankle ligament, it is what it is. Manieri, hamstring, that's 8 already. Martinelli, hamstring, that's 9. And Bukayo Saka also, hamstring, that's 10. Odegaard, hamstring, 11. You want to tell me that having this amount of injuries on hamstrings and muscles and knees is not because Mikel Arteta has absolutely annihilated this team into the ground. With no rotation, no backup signed, no nothing. You can get 1, 2, maybe 3 hamstring injuries a season for different players. It can happen. But when you get with hamstring muscle injuries into double digits, and your most durable players in the team start to get them, like Saka, Rice, Gabriel, Partey, not Partey, maybe not, Saliba, and players like that, then it is a massive problem. Then it's not anymore a coincidence. It's not a bad luck. It's Mikel Arteta, his training regime, and the fact that he plays the same 11 almost every single game and has run them into the ground dry, that they have nothing left in themselves. Let's not forget these things, because this is a massive, massive, massive issue. Remember last year, it was like 34th, 32nd game of the season, right? Last season. And a stat came out that of all the Premier League players who have played the most games this season in all competitions, out of top 7, 5 were Arsenal players. And that included Rice, Saka, Saliba, Gabriel, and Odegaard. And Kai Havertz as well. He's pretty durable as well. Let's not forget that. So what are we saying here? It's all on Mikel Arteta. 750 million? 750 million? Down the drain? Pissed down the drain? Okay, about 400 has turned out somewhat good. 350 million left. All of that pissed down the wind to sign Fabio Vieiras, Sambi Lokongas, and all these Tavares, 7 goalkeepers or 8 even, about 55 defenders, not even talking about injury Yasu, Gabriel Jesus, which Arteta screwed up himself, rushed back from the surgery and injury recovery. He gets now 2 more surgeries on the same knee, and now it's the other knee and everything. We're not even talking about that. It's all on Mikel Arteta. He played Declan Rice with broken toe against Chelsea. He played Odegaard when he shouldn't be playing against Chelsea for the full 90, and Norway laughed him out of the national team and sent back to Arsenal. Rice played 3 months with the necessity of a surgery. Saka gets injured. Let's be real, Odegaard gets injured. Okay, that can happen with Odegaard. I totally get that. Calafiori gets injured on a consistent basis. Same goes for, what's its face? The other one, Merino. Okay, unlucky, but still gets injured. Partey is also a testament of that. It's actually unacceptable for a club like this to be run like that. Now Rice, yeah, he's done. I feel bad. I missed Aaron's whole stream for some sleep. Big up, Boyton, big up. Well, you can catch it back on a playback and then join him. I think he's streaming tonight. Or he's joining someone's stream tonight and he's streaming again tomorrow. So you're not going to miss much, I think. But overall, yeah. It is actually insane. By the way, if you haven't already, people, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Road to 1,000 subscribers begins right here. We are Hospital FC, yeah. We used to have that. There was a meme in early 2010s, if you remember, that instead of the cannon into Arsenal's badge, there was a wheelchair. We even had a guy named Jack Wheelchair, aka Jack Wilshere. And now we're back at it again. Arteta shortened the squad and kept on with his all hands on defense approach. Now we're getting injuries. Exactly. He makes everyone track back, bump forward. Pretty much most of Arsenal players by the end of the season most likely will be up there in the most distance covered in the league just because of that. He has absolutely ruined the players just for his narcissistic purposes. Genuinely, it feels like Arteta is learning the job at Arsenal just so he can go to a different club and maybe win something there. He's building his own resume to some extent. And he's doing at the expense of Arsenal and some of these guys' careers. Yeah, Arteta is a narcissist, that's why. Terrible, Marlon. Why you remind me that we play Newcastle next? Yeah, we play Newcastle next. Woohoo! Injury FC at it again, bro, running the whole team to ground every year. Exactly. Is Rice out for the Newcastle? Yeah, he is. It looks that way. It's not confirmed. But Arteta said apparently it didn't look good. Same with Yuri Timber. Declan Rice didn't even train before Liverpool game, so that should give you something to think about as well. We are screwed. Only God can help these players' careers. Might not even play up to. It could be. It could be the scenario where someone retires in 28, 29 years old if this keeps up. Tomiyasu was a spy. I'm sorry, man, but we got to wake up. In reality, as long as Arteta is here, the players will get more injuries and injuries gonna get worse. It could come to that extent. Because many times when you get injuries, and there are specific injuries as well to that, I think hamstring is one of them, especially if you have surgeries, it takes time to muscle to regenerate, right? But they are not fully there, are they? It means that even you can do the things you have to do, and even to a high level, it means that other parts of the muscles in the body need to compensate for the lack of ability of the muscle that has been repaired, which again puts you at a risk of a different type of injury, and that could require another surgery, and that could again ruin everything. All that has to happen is the transfer window goes right. Then Arteta has no reason not to trust this squad. Exactly. Or Arteta goes in the transfer market. In June 1st, see ya. The man who could have become the next Dennis Bergkamp, man, damn, had you run Wilshere. Dude, Wilshere, that's insane. I watched Wilshere in a charity game that was about 2 months ago. Man, he still has it. He still has all the tech and everything. Let's be real. Physical pace is first that leaves you at the end of the day. Let's be real. Technical ability stays with you almost forever. Man, just forfeit the top 5 from now. Big up coach, big up coach. Declan Rice is out for some time. He has a hamstring injury, another hamstring injury for Arsenal, by the way. Kivior might be leaving. Arsenal are undecided whether to offer him a new... Arsenal want to offer him a new contract, but Kivior is undecided because, well, he wants to leave because lack of game time. Arsenal are getting mocked. Arsenal think that this midfield is good enough for us to win the league. When this Sociedad midfield finished 6th, this is our future, basically. Arsenal are interested in Gonçalo Ramos, allegedly, who knows. But that's about it. We did the Arteta interview in the beginning of the stream as well. Here we go. Big up to, basically this guy. Big up to A. He tweeted this out. Trossard came off with a hamstring issue as well. That was against Liverpool, by the way, if anyone noticed. That's now Havertz, Saka, Trossard, Martinelli, Ranieri, Gabriel, Rice, who have had hamstring injuries to varying degrees this season. 7 players. Nothing to see here though. Just a coincidence, I'm sure. When durable players like Gabriel, Saka, Rice, even Havertz start getting hamstring injuries, maybe it's time to reflect on whether you're running them into the ground. But I don't think this manager is capable of admitting he makes mistakes. He'll do it again next season. Big up. Nothing more, nothing less than pure facts in these 2 tweets. Nothing more, nothing less. Let's be real. Dennis Brown, the only real than before us on Arsenal. I want 3 stars and 3 squad players like Baleba and Semenyo. I want us to sign 5-6 players. Given the situation that about 5 of them are leaving, we need to replace them in general, and we need players on top of that. But we are not going to do that in one window, is it? I also believe that this first window under Andrea Berta won't be as glamorous as people want it to be. I think the second window will be the one where he actually can unleash his full potential. Whether it's gonna be with Mikel Arteta or not, that's a completely different story. Dennis Bergkamp, I mean, with Trossard Rice, so we will finally get smacked by... We're gonna get smacked by Newcastle again. Imagine 4 games against Newcastle in one season, and we are on the brink of not scoring a single goal against them. We have already had 3 games, we haven't scored a goal against them. So, it's rough. And Newcastle have something to play for, because they are... If they win the game against Arsenal, they overtake us instantly. Gyokeres incoming will be elite. I hope so. I hope he comes. Pause. We're gonna get to Gyokeres in a second. This one caught me off guard today. According to Daily Express, Real Madrid are considering a move to sign Arsenal's David Raya this summer, by the way, as a part of their major rebuild, apparently to replace Courtois in the future or something like that. What we saying, guys? Well, this might be the most embarrassing match in our history. At the Emirates, it would take a lot. Definitely would take a lot at the Emirates to be the most embarrassing. But all depends on performance as well. Because even if we lose the game against Newcastle, there is a way to lose. With dignity or like basically washed up players. Real Madrid better find someone else if they know it there. No. To be honest, at least, I'm not gonna lie, since Gabriel has gotten the injury, David Raya has been quite shaky as well. Not sure, again, whether it's with Gabriel's injury like coinciding and because of that, but definitely Raya has been quite shaky in recent times. He scrambles way too much. He does some weird stuff. And of course the Mikel Arteta tactics where he plays on the center half, already that's embarrassing as well. Big up G-Star, big up my guy. Hope you're doing well today. By the way, like and subscribe people if you haven't already. Do me a favor, smash the like and subscribe if you're new here. Fabio Vieira had another man of the match performance for Porto. Porto won 2-1. That's good for him. Maybe we can sell him for some good money. Real Madrid cleaning Arsenal. Whoa. I would sell Raya for a good fee. He's getting old and his resale value will be low in the near future. Easy to replace, unlike Saliba, Saka, Rice. Yeah, that is the thing. Replacing Raya wouldn't be a big issue if we get the right player. Replacing Saliba, Gabriel, that will be pain and a half. Not even talking about Gabriel or Timber or Saka and stuff like that. Raya basically plays third center back right now. Exactly. He's doing what Neuer did for Germany and Bayern Munich about 10 years ago. The issue with this is David Raya is not Manuel Neuer, is he? Here is some copium to some extent. Some copium. Real Madrid are prepared to let Rodrigo leave the club this summer, but have no intention of losing Endrick. The young Brazilian striker is thought about as untouchable. Now, this comes from Relevo, so take that with massive pinch of salt, right? But if there is an opportunity in any way, shape, or form that Arsenal can sign Rodrigo, I beg they do it. I genuinely beg they do it. Who are we gonna replace Raya with though? Sells no short-term deal and Patricio. Might try maybe the Porto goalkeeper. I forgot his name. Not João Pedro. I forgot. Porto goalkeeper. If you really want to sign, maybe try Magnan, although I'm not overly convinced with Magnan, I'm not gonna lie. Mamardashvili I would love to have, but he's off the market. He's at Liverpool. Well, on loan at Valencia, but he's at Liverpool. There are some good goalkeepers. I'm just now on top of my head like scrambling a bit. We never should have let Martinez go, shouldn't we? That's the biggest issue. So, time will tell. There definitely are goalkeepers we can replace him with. Here we go. Gyokeres news. I think everyone that's sitting on the stream and waiting for this. According to Dean James. Right? I think he means Fabrizio as a backup. And Sells as the main guy. I'm not sure. I'm not sold on Sells. That's one good season in Nottingham Forest. I want to see him next season in 3-4 cup competitions, as they're gonna be in Europe potentially. But yeah, Arsenal allegedly are close to reaching an agreement with Sporting Lisbon for Viktor Gyokeres. 80 million. That's according to Oliveira 32 Pablo. Whoever that is, not sure we can trust him or not. Big up Troy, hope you're doing well. I'd take Sesko over Gyokeres. Well then, let's move on. I hope Gyokeres says I want Arteta gone before I join. The issue with this is all these claims that Gyokeres is close, whatever dude, means genuinely nothing to me. Because I think there's a big if in this situation. If United win the Europa League, I can see him going to United. That for me is the biggest thing. These are just rumors and speculations that allegedly they have agreed a fee and everything will be fine and dandy. Allegedly. This is all allegedly. Yeah, it's just rumors, exactly. If it's true and we want to get our business done in June alone, I'm all for it. And Gyokeres comes. Pause. But for me, the biggest issue is United factor. Because if, as I said, if United win Europa League, they're straight into Champions League, into Super Cup and all this stuff, right? that springboards them instantly into stratosphere, given their money issues and the money you're gonna get for Champions League and all this stuff, right? Um, but the biggest thing for me is that Gyökeres wants Amorim. I would assume so if they get the Champions League, and I think he can move there. Which Patricio you are talking about? Because we are talking about here about Rui Patricio, and he's like genuinely like 55 years old. Rui Patricio, 37 years old. We are talking about that goalkeeper or someone else? Because that is the biggest question here, ultimately. Then I know 3 good strikers, Mikhail Tadzer. I would take Gyökeres, Osimhen, of course. I would have taken Ivan Toney last summer. I would have taken Pavlidis if that would be an option, but I'm not too sure. Retegui is a hit and miss. Mikhail Tadze is a hit and miss as well. We never know. But that is that. It's strictly a rumor that the deal is close, or almost an agreement. For me, I think it solely depends on what happens with United in Europa League. Because if they win it, I think this could actually stop in its tracks. That's what I'm saying. However, if we actually get him, oh my goodness gracious. Retegui is here at top scorer and Pavlidis build different. Yeah, Pavlidis is nuts. Retegui is having a breakout season. That for me is the biggest worry. Here is this. Chelsea apparently, according to Code of Side, so take that with some pinch of salt, have opened talks with AC Milan to sign Rafael. Diego Costa, that is from Porto. Diego Costa is the Porto goalkeeper. No? Diogo Costa, yeah, that's the goalkeeper I was talking about. Diogo Costa from Porto. I would take him at Arsenal. That is the goalkeeper I was talking about. Diogo Costa, exactly. Diogo Costa. Diego Costa is the striker that absolutely annihilated us. Anyways, Rafael. Apparently he's valued about 62.5 million. Would you take a punt for 62.5 million for Leao at Arsenal? For left wing? My question. That is the biggest question. I'm not fully sold on Leao. That for me is the biggest issue. He's good, but is he a first choice goalkeeper? He could. He definitely could. I definitely believe he could, potentially. Time will tell. To be honest, you realize that first choice goalkeepers to sign, there genuinely are a handful of first choice goalkeepers in the world in general. Not handful, 2 handful. Like you would say, for example, Alisson, Ederson to some extent, Ter Stegen. I'm struggling already. What the fuck's happening to me? Maybe Magnan. I would put Diogo Costa in that and everything. There are very few starting goalkeepers in general. Donnarumma and stuff like that. There are very few. Rest of them are a massive gamble. Either they are in between starting and secondary role, or they are just on the cusp to becoming that. So it's gonna be a gamble if we sell Raya. So Marlon wouldn't take Leao. I totally understand because I'm more no than yes as well. He's like basically, he's better than Nico Williams, but he's a bit improved Nico Williams to some extent. I want Semenyo on the left. He's direct, not sideways and backwards thinking. The issue is, same as Vanieri, and he's not playing at Arsenal. And it doesn't matter if he's forward or backwards. It doesn't matter. As long as Arteta makes him play sideways and backwards, he will have to do it, unfortunately. Doué, Barcola, Gittins, Baird, and Semenyo, and look. I would take Lookman at Arsenal. I would. I'm not gonna lie. I would take Lookman at Arsenal. I'm sold on Williams. I'm not. Big up boy 10, but I'm totally not. Anyways. This is a big one. This is according to David Ornstein, so you cannot trust him because he recently, just like Fabrizio Romano, has gone quite a bit of stuff wrong. But if an agreement over extension can't be agreed with Thomas Partey, Arsenal will look at replacements, and they have already started seeing players, which is quite exciting. I'm not gonna lie. If Partey leaves, it's nice to see that Arsenal are taking some action. The biggest question is who. That is the biggest question. who we could go after. That is the biggest question, because at the moment it's again the number 6 spot. It's a bit of a rough one in it. I'm done as well with Nico Williams. I've never wanted Nico Williams in the first place, even last summer. Cat Partey is the general of our midfield. He ain't leaving. That is the hope. But we don't know if that's real or not. That is the hope that Partey is not leaving. Let's be real. That for us is some sort of a copium in that regard. We just hope Partey doesn't leave in general. So we'll see how that goes for us. Genuinely going to see how that goes for us. Another big signing would be Gordon from Newcastle and Delap, Gyokeres. Apparently Delap wants United. That was today reported by Sky Sports or some shit like that. Apparently Delap wants United. I would love to have Gyokeres, but I think Gyokeres will wait out and see the Europa League result, whether he has a chance of playing for United with Amorim. Gordon would be nice. Also, I wouldn't mind Bruno Guimaraes from Newcastle. Partey is gone, guys. The owners might not care all that much about Arsenal. But they will care that traveling fans are singing part. Yeah, that is the biggest thing. Those alleged things outside of football, that is a big issue. Wharton, Agume, Kama, reindeers would be nice. Apparently City are still looking at reindeers. Of course, Bruno Guimaraes would be phenomenal. I'm not too sure Douglas Luiz would be good enough, but I would take a punt on Douglas Luiz. Maybe finally after 3.5 years. Lol. No, 2.5 years. Maybe. Kamavinga, maybe. There are not that many as well. The number 6 as well, that role is a very, very mystique role, which demands a lot, and there are not many who can do it properly as well. Gyökeres, Mitoma, Zubimendi, and Hato. I roll with that. Zubimendi and Hato. We still need a 6 though, if Partey leaves. We need our midfielder. Baleba is a good Partey replacement. Long term, yes, he I think needs a bit more time, so he could be an understudy. If we kept Vardy for one season and signed Baleba as an understudy for him to learn, when Partey leaves, for example, after next season, I would be all for it. But if we want to replace Partey pretty much instantly, we need someone experienced. I'm moving MLS to 6. MLS is an 8/6. That would be interesting because I don't see... Unless we sign a left back like Gerald Hato or someone like that, you should watch Hato. He's actually very, very decent, very good. Yeah, see, if we sign Hato, then there would be an option for Skelly to move in the midfield. 100%. Wouldn't be against that as well. It is his position, yeah. He is a midfielder by default. Just like Manieri. Manieri by default is a number 10. He plays right wing just because Arteta makes him play there, just like Skelly. Skelly is a number 6, number 8, and he plays left back because Arteta makes him to play there. Why? This guy has some weird obsession with inverting and playing players out of position. Arteta won't ever be brave enough to move Skelly to the 6, but hopefully Berta tells him off. Yeah, would be nice. Genuinely would be nice. Would be nice. But yeah, guys, I think on that note, I'm gonna wrap it up today. It's been another fantastic stream. Big up to everyone who has liked, who has commented, who has subscribed if anyone has. I haven't checked it. I'm going to check it after the stream. You've been quite phenomenal today as always. Big up to you all. Frimpong on the right, Timber on the... I don't want to see Timber as a left back ever. Right back or no cigar. And Frimpong is going to Liverpool potentially as a replacement for Trent. Berta should be smacking him right... Berta should be just yeeting him out of the Emirates. Frimpong is a right wing back. In a 3 at the back / 5 at the back, he's a right wing back more than anything. I don't want Timber on the left either. Exactly, he's wasted there. Keep him at right back, sometimes center back. Exactly, that's my judgment on Timber as well. Don't want him as a left back whatsoever. But yeah, I think on that note, as I said, I'm gonna end it here. So if you haven't already, like the stream. Subscribe if you're new, and yeah, leave your thoughts down in the comments if you're watching this as a playback. See you all tomorrow. See what tomorrow brings. Maybe some good news, maybe some bad. We'll see how this goes. So we're gonna go from there. Big up views. Big up. Hope you're doing well. Go subscribe. Views on Sport. Go subscribe to the Giza. Big up, top lad. Yeah, smash the likes. No Timber on center back. He plays his worst. Yeah, just like Ben White. Both are at right back. Somehow Arteta has lucked out on White at right back as well. But yeah, as I said, for today, I'm gonna peace the scene. Hopefully tomorrow there is some good news. Big up to everyone. Big up Gunner81. Big up, hope you're doing well. But yeah, take care. Stay safe. Big up Boy 10. Big up Yus. Big up Gunner81. Marlon. Boy 10. Coach. G Star. Troy. Who else was today on the stream? Let's quickly. AFC always. Big up to you. Social joins. DAA93. BX Gunner. Noah, big up Noah, big up everyone. You have been quite fantastic today and hope to see you tomorrow as well. Enjoy your day tomorrow. Peace out.